It's game day, 49er faithful. Yes, indeed, it is game day. Welcome to our first ever pregame pump-up show. We are here hoping that some 49ers fans pop in and want to get hyped at the same level that I do. It occurred to me this morning, this is something I've been wanting to do for some time. Game day, get it going. And the late game is a perfect opportunity to do that. I'm hoping to go through 3 of my keys to the game to start off the call today. But those of you that join in, please kick in your chats, whether they are enthusiastic, whether they are questions you want answered, whether they are comments about this fantastic weather that we have going on. I mean, just absolutely football weather. Mud Bowl 2021 is what we're headed for. I'm super excited for it. I don't think it gets much better than being covered in mud on the field, going for it, ball slipping out wherever. And I love being there in the stands too. I know people talk about, well, we live in California for a reason and we don't want to see this type of weather, when we're out there in the stands. BS. Get over that. You like football, you like this kind of weather. This is the kind of weather that faithful fans eat up. Eat it up. The last good rain game I was at was a heartbreaker. 2019, Baltimore going up against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Had a chance down to the wire and just lost it. That was a sideways rain game. That was exactly what you're going to see on the field tonight in my prediction, is that type of weather that just everyone is soaked. If you make the mistake of not wearing waterproof pants, you will regret it if you're sitting in those stands because it's about to get rainy. In Baltimore that year in 2019, it was cold as well. So that was even more unpleasant, but you just got to grin and bear it. That's football, baby. Yes, indeed. Let's dip into the comments section to see what's up with everybody popping in. Robin saying, let's all of the faithful stand at kickoff and cheer the 49ers on. No matter where you are in the world, go get them, 49ers. Moses coming in. What's up, my man? Welcome. Amin the Dream in the chat. Let's go, Niners. Scott popping in from the 570, Scranton, Pennsylvania, home of The Office. Let's go, Hypnotic. Indeed, indeed. G. Reyes talking about let's go, Rob. Yes, indeed. Francisco, let's get this W. Indeed, we need to get this win on Sunday. Can't tell you what a difference a win would make. We'll get back into the comments section in just a little bit. But with the idea Francisco just brought up there of getting a W, let's look at the 3 keys to the game for the 49ers. We're going to try and break this down, then get back into the comments. Hopefully you guys get your shout outs and questions in there. We're going to keep this energy up. And this pregame show is meant to get you excited for the 5:20 kickoff that we've got going on in just a little bit. 3 keys to the game for Rob Shue coming up against the Indianapolis Colts. The first one is you have to win the turnover battle. Don't kid yourself. That ball is squirting out at some point this afternoon. It's going to be an ugly, sloppy day across the board. There's going to be a lot of mud on that football field. And if you're looking at the running back situation, when comparing the two, you would think that the Colts with Jonathan Taylor may have the edge. Jonathan Taylor, pretty good ball security. The 49ers, you're looking at multiple rookies carrying the ball, and JaMychal Hasty, who has had some concerns there. So it's going to be critical for the 49ers, in particular, their linebackers, who they stacked up on today, going heavy with extra linebackers active for the game, choosing to keep Lenore inactive, 1 fewer defensive backs on the field for the 49ers, and load up on the linebackers. Fred Warner against Darius Leonard in this one. One of them, I believe, is going to force a fumble in this wet, soggy game Sunday night, and I got to hope that it's Fred Warner. We haven't had him create a turnover yet this season. Obviously, both he and Darius Leonard signed those huge record-setting contracts in the offseason. Neither one has played up to their 2020 form, but Darius Leonard has knocked the ball out several times. Believe he has a pick as well. It's not quite the quiet season so far from Darius Leonard, so you hope that this is the game where Fred Warner evens the score and says to the world, yes, indeed, I deserved to be the highest paid linebacker in the offseason this year. It's going to be tough to knock the ball out, but whoever can force the turnover Sunday night is going to have the distinct advantage. Neither one of these teams strikes me as one that is capable of overcoming serious adversity in the game. The 49ers have proven it week in and week out. If they are to win the game, it needs to be playing complementary football. Cannot afford to get down early. It has to be the type of game where you stay ahead in the chains, averaging reasonable amounts every game with the run game so that you don't find yourself in third and long. Third and long in a rain game with Jimmy Garoppolo behind center with 20-mile-per-hour winds potentially gusting even higher than that, could be a recipe for disaster. The last big rain game the 49ers played in, of my recollection, would be the Washington football team game in 2019. And if you go back and look at the statistics from that game, you look at Jimmy only throwing 21 passes. I want to see fewer than that this game. I want to see under 20 attempts from Jimmy Garoppolo, because that will speak to me that the 49ers are in this game in the entirety of it, that they are in the lead or at least close behind. And I see fewer turnovers, fewer mistakes coming out if the 49ers can control the ball, run the ball, manage the clock. In that game against the Washington football team, they only averaged 3.5 yards per carry. So you'd hope that the 49ers will be a little more explosive today. So far this season, the explosive plays are down significantly for the 49ers, and in particular in the run game. Some of that may have to do with some of the vision for these rookie running backs, but you also have to question the right side of the 49ers line. And that leads us into the second point. It's going to be my second keys to the game, and that is the run game. That matches up the San Francisco 49ers being very efficient so far this season, but not at all explosive. Whereas the Colts defense, their run defense, is number one in the league. So you have a San Francisco 49ers rushing attack led by two rookies, inexperienced rushing attack going up against the fiercest in the league. And of course, they're coming up against DeForest Buckner on that defensive line for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, we all know as 49ers fans that if there was a weakness to DeForest's game, it was against the run. And that comes naturally from physics. He's a tall guy. He's a tall defensive tackle. He has long legs, so his center of gravity is going to be up. It's tough to get low on those offensive linemen when they're firing off on the run game. So you would hope that the 49ers can run directly at DeForest Buckner and minimize his pass rush just a little bit. You do not want to see DeForest Buckner teeing off against Daniel Brunskill and Alex Mack in this game. On the other side of the ball, the Colts run game is both efficient and explosive. Jonathan Taylor is tearing it up in the league so far this season, averaging 5.4 yards per carry and almost leading the lead, if not leading the lead, in explosive plays from the line of scrimmage. He has true 4.4 speed, consistently breaking those long runs. The last game, you just have to turn it on against the Texans. Believe he had 2 runs over 80 yards, taking it to the house. You cannot afford to allow that to happen today against the San Francisco 49ers. So far this season, the run D has been stout. The run D has been stout for years. If you look back at holding opposing running backs to under 100 yards, it has been since October 31st of 2019, Halloween 2019. When the 49ers last allowed a 100-yard rusher at running back. Against the Rams on the 31st of October. Let's hope that we can continue that trend yet again and go more than 2 years because, again, this is a true home run hitter here. The 49ers linebacking core need to be sound for this game. And I'm fired up. I know Fred Warner is fired up, and I hope that you're fired up as well. What's the third key to the game for me before we get into those comments that look like they are building up there? Hope you guys are active in the chat, being positive, getting that positive momentum and mojo out there. Hope you got the new fresh gear on. That should be my third key to the game, is fresh gear for every 49er fan out there. But my third key to the game is going to be special teams. I know you're saying, Rob, special teams, man, how is that going to be the key to the game? Well, this is going to be a close one. In my prediction, this will be within that one score margin. I think it's going to be within 3 points, within that field goal to win. And in those types of games, it can come down to the single play that matters the most. And I think that special teams is a key. Certainly in this weather, with these winds, the punting game is going to be difficult. Pinning punts inside the 20 is going to be tricky. Fair catches are going to be tricky. Whomever is back there for the 49ers, whether they stick with Brandon Ayuk in this game or shift over to Mohamed Sanu, has to prioritize catching the ball first and foremost. I know that's obvious, but Richard Hightower, Coach Hightower, has touched on it. There's nothing more important than ensuring in a punt you take possession of the football. That would be a tragic way to lose this one. A muff in this game for either team could be the difference. The 49ers returners to this point have left a little something to be desired. Will we see at kick returner a little bit of a change? We go back to Trenton Cannon. He had the one rough game, but other than that has looked solid and certainly is a burner. On the other side of the ball, the Colts have lost 2 of their speedy wide receivers, but their return man and their final speedy wide receiver is still there, the rookie Ashton Dulin. Keep your eyes out for Dulin. He is their remaining speedy wide receiver, their remaining 4-4 threat on the outside, and he handles, I believe, kick returns for them. He is definitely a return threat. And will look to fill the role of Paris Campbell, who was recently injured, who was their 4-3 wide receiver, who had been on the verge of a breakout for the Colts for several years and just cannot stay healthy. I know 49ers fans can relate to that sad reality, but there are definitely some burners on the field for each team. A big return would make the difference. And let's face it, each team is dealing with a backup kicker. It's a battle of the backup kickers. And not only that, but the 49ers had in both of the kickers that were in this game in for tryouts and chose Joey Sly. So we get an opportunity to see, were the 49ers correct in their choice of Joey Sly over Michael Badgley? Both will be playing in this game, both filling in for injured kickers in the win. You have to wonder if both teams will hesitate to kick long field goals because the wind looks crazy. If you're looking at the flags in Levi's Stadium and the pregame coverage, it's wild, man. They're whipping all over the place. I saw a video of frickin' porta potties sliding through the Levi's parking lot. It's madness. It's perfect football weather. Perfect football weather. All right, we are going to try and go through the comments here. So let's see what we got coming in. Moses first out with the hello, trying to scroll back up. What's up, Rob? Shout out to you, Moses. What's going on? For sure, without a doubt. That's probably just, in response to some obvious statement that I made here. Shout out from Fresno, California from Moses. And what's up? William in here saying, hey, Rob, first time to your channel. Boom. First time in. If you're here for the first time while you're here, subscribe while you're down there. It's a little click of your button, but it means the world to me. I'm climbing up towards that 800 subscriber mark, and I'm trying for 1,000. So if you're here, hit the subscribe, hit the like button. That's what's up. Swift Dog, let's go 49ers indeed. G. Reyes coming in with hope Shanny has his stuff together, not putting the curse word on the screen because I don't know whether YouTube cares about written curse words. We'll say shit on this channel, though. Hope Shanny has his shit together. You and me both, G. Reyes, because Shanny definitely needs to come out with a solid game plan, not too cute, needs to be all about basics and execution and making sure that the 49ers look like they have it together, because it has been awkward and discombobulated for weeks. Keep the comments rolling in. I'll try to catch up. Here we go. Swift Dog coming in from Mesa, Arizona. I like it. We got one here from Flya Chief saying he's in from Richmond, Virginia. The faithful are alive and well across the nation. It doesn't matter that we're 2-3. One game today takes us back to 500. I'm going to throw it out there. If you have a question or a comment you want to make sure is to me, hit the @RobShoe as you type it in, but I'll probably go through each one of these comments, except for the one I just saw from the punch you in the eye. That one is definitely not getting read on air there. All right, Moses saying the X factor will be not letting Wentz look good. If we can get him down and punish him throughout the game, that's going to be huge. You know Nick Bosa. You know Nick Bosa is going to be bringing it. Samson Ebukam now has healed up from that hamstring injury that he had been recovering from since the preseason. Will that be the key difference in getting some additional pressure from the other side? Yes, Dee Ford has accumulated 3 sacks to this point, but his pressure rate on downs, on the number of downs rushed is not great. It's not consistent pressure coming from the other side, and that's what the 49ers need in order to get back to a dominant pass rush. Francisco coming in. Trey Sermon blowout game. I sure hope that we get both Trey and Elijah Mitchell going in this one. Elijah, because we need the home run hitter. We need somebody to break off a big one, and you know he's got the jets. He's got the speed that we're looking for. But in a game like this, Trey Sermon repeatedly punching the defense in the mouth, that bell cow type of back, man, you need to get a little something from that. No doubt, no doubt. G. Reyes wants to expand the run game and turn Debo, Ayuk, and Dwelly into running backs. I think that you're doing all you can to minimize the throws down the field. That gusty wind is going to do a number on shots down the field. It could even impact the intermediate passing game with how fierce that wind looked. So, you've got to hope that you can get the run game going. One way to do that is to bring in those additional wide receivers on the end arounds and the jet sweeps. Moses coming in with a question. Rob, can't let Wentz out of the pocket and get carried away like he did last year when he was with the Eagles. Yes, not a question, but a statement. That is a definitive statement right there. Carson Wentz and the Eagles last year did a number on the 49ers, and you cannot allow him to get confident like that. Robin calling out, and this is sort of a sad call out, but National Tight End Day. Go Ross Dwelly. Indeed, Robin, I'm with you 100%. Go Ross Dwelly. But it's sad in that 2 of the key players for Tight End University, or the best tight ends in the league, in George Kittle and oh goodness gracious, for the Raiders as well. Why am I skipping his name right now? Oh, he's on my fantasy football team. Somebody throw it into the chat for me. Who am I thinking of on the Raiders, the tight end that is out for the day? Anyway, a couple of the key tight ends are out for the day, and you didn't have a fantastic day from the Chiefs either, from Travis Kelce. Austin coming in. Yo, what's good, Rob? What's up, Austin? How you doing? Hope your birthday weekend was great, and hope that your birthday wish comes true. That's doubly true for me as well. Yes, it was a fantastic birthday weekend. I'm a little, I needed an extra cup of coffee today because I didn't get as much sleep as I normally would because, my wife and I were up late watching movies, enjoying the birthday weekend, living it up. Went out to dinner, which is such a rarity nowadays with everything that is going on in the damn world with pandemics. But my birthday wish is for the 49ers to turn around the season this weekend. And in order for that to happen, the game tonight has to go well. So we will find out if, in fact, the 49ers can get it together 49ers faithful, because that is my wish, that is my belief, and that is my faith going into this game. Paul Perryman says, this is a scary game, in my opinion. Both teams need this win bad. Whoever has the best run game will probably win. That's a fair statement, an absolutely true statement that this is a must-win for both teams. Both teams suffered early in the season, did not get out to the starts that they were both expecting from these franchises, and both are desperate at this point to turn the season around. Each team has shown promise. The Colts, unlike the 49ers, have started their upward climb back into relevance, and you have to hope that the 49ers can make that pivot this weekend and put the Colts back in the L column. Paul coming back in. Jimmy's going to average 3 yards of passing distance per pass. Quite honestly, with the way in which this weather is looking from the pregame reports, that is, in fact, what it looks like. By the way, people calling out what I couldn't remember earlier, Darren Waller is who was escaping me. He is on my fantasy football team. I know him quite well. I respect him as a sober football player, look up to him a great deal, and couldn't remember his name in the heat of battle. Darren Waller, ladies and gentlemen. Armchair QB1 coming in. I'd like to see Trey Sermon get the ball in the rain. The conditions don't favor our faster backs necessarily. I just want every back to get the reminder. I don't care whether it's Bobby Turner in their ears or whether it is Jimmy Garoppolo in the huddle, but high and tight. High and tight. That better be an emphasis today. You need to let the rookies know. I don't care who it is, constant reminders in their ears. Yes, ball security is, in fact, paramount today. SMH is correct. Aaron Banks is active. I tweeted that out right before going live. For the first time this season, we have activity from Aaron Banks on game day. Now, that is a result, unfortunately, of Trent Williams being inactive for the game, and therefore you're looking for that extra body, but it is progress, and that is all we need to see from our rookies. Being dressed on game day is the first step in getting the opportunity to play on game day. Armchair QB saying, although, run away from Defoe. I'm running into Defoe. I am running into him because I want to slow his pass rush. I am far more afraid of what he can do in the sack fumble on Jimmy than I am against the rookie running backs, but perhaps that's just me. The Don saying, Rob Shue, need those positive vibes, baby. Let's go. All about positive vibes today. Absolutely. Our Niners need it 100%, because if we don't turn it around today, man, it gets dark for the faithful, and I can't handle that. So I'm choosing to bring the positivity. Let's go Tom Compton season. James is fired up. It will be interesting to see. You'd think it'd be more at left tackle, but interesting to see how the 49ers man that left tackle spot without Trent Williams. Man, that makes me a little uneasy. I'm not gonna lie, but hopefully the 49ers can overcome it. In 2019, we were able to scheme around missing tackles on a constant basis. So you got to hope that you're seeing that again from Kyle Shanahan, getting his confidence back, getting back into his offensive bag, and dialing up those phenomenal plays that he is known for. James thinking ahead, thinking we need to trade Armstead. He's PFF top 10. He is having a great season, but I don't know that you can let go of another talented defensive lineman. I think it was a mistake to let Buckner go. I think if you could have gone back in time, if you could go back in time and let go of Armstead and keep Buckner, you'd do that. But now that you've let Buckner go, I don't support the idea of letting Armstead go as well. I realize that contract starts to get more expensive, but I think a lot of those incentives are not likely to be hit incentives. I don't know that you'll see that AAV, that average earned salary per year, actually be as high as it was reported when that contract came out. I think to his pay schedule, I think his production is in match with his pay schedule. But Other fans agree. We got James chiming in. Oh, that was James. And then it's James again. James agrees with himself, I should say. And that's good news that that you agree with yourself, because you probably should. Ooh, here we go. Armchair QB1 saying Niners going to block a field goal. God, I want to see something in the special teams. I want to see something that shows us the 49ers are fighting and clawing this week. Chester coming in saying, I want to get a Lance jersey, but he has to show me something first. Yeah, I think you're probably safe in getting one because you know he's the future. You know he's the franchise for at least the next 3 years, even if things go pretty badly, because the 49ers don't have a first round draft pick to replace him, which is unfortunate. Agree with James saying that Lance did show everything you could hope for in Arizona. I would say because of the game plan and despite it, because it was a pretty terrible game plan, no question. Didn't match up with what you would hope to see under center from the young rookie. Ooh, we got some good comments coming in, or lots of them, I should say. I'm trying to keep up on that. Don't you worry. Keep them coming in the comments section. All the Colts have is running backs in this game. Michael Pittman is still one hell of a receiver. I started to compare the Colts offense a little bit. They remind me of the Seattle Seahawks in some ways. You have T.Y. Hilton and DK Metcalf seem very similar in their skill sets to the Colts. The Colts in T.Y. I tried to get this out on Jack's show, and I just can't seem to get it out either way. I'm going to try it one more time, but the words do not want to come out of my mouth when trying to compare the Seahawks and the Colts. And maybe that's my mind telling me that you're wrong about this comparison. But for the Seahawks, with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, who are on the Seahawks, going up against what seems similar in Michael Pittman, seems a bit similar, although smaller in stature, to DK Metcalf, and T.Y. Hilton and Tyler Lockett. There's too many T's going on here, and that's what's crossing up my wires. Plus, the lack of sleep over the weekend has hurt me here. But T.Y. Hilton is out. Paris Campbell is out. Carson Wentz is not Russell Wilson. He is a poor man's Russell Wilson. On the other side, though, I do think that, to your point here, James, about the running backs, when you compare Chris Carson against Jonathan Taylor is the far more explosive back there, and that is going to be the game in my book, whether our linebackers and front seven can contain Jonathan Taylor. Chester coming in with skepticism about the future of the quarterback situation for the San Francisco 49ers with that throwing motion. Hopefully that's just regression under pressure. That obviously we can and will move past those throwing motions that are rough just in the offseason, getting more and more time to correct them, and then getting back in and not regressing once he has shaken off the rookie cobwebs. All right, Raul coming in. Hopefully Jimmy doesn't throw the ball backwards again. Yes, cannot afford. We can't afford it. We cannot afford any careless turnovers. Can't afford any turnovers regardless. The turnovers will be the key to the game. It's my first key to the game this week. Yes, indeed. Jared Carlin, definitely defense returns interception for touchdown. Big turnover game. Whoever wins the battle of turnovers wins. You and I are on the same page there, Jared. I absolutely believe that turnovers are going to be key in this game and could help decide the final score at the end. Here we go. General talking about rain is Army, not football weather. I disagree. I love it. I love the rain games. I love it. I was confused by the next one I read here, but I'm throwing it up there. Luke Walsh coming in. Porta potty slot cornerback. Are we throwing in a porta potty at slot cornerback? Is that the question? One of them was moving pretty well out in Levi Stadium parking lot. So potentially. No. This week we have the return of the Shark, baby. K'Wan Williams is back out at slot corner. That is fantastic news for the San Francisco 49ers. Chester saying we can't even judge this game performance with this weather. That's true. It will be hard. We were looking for answers, 49er faithful. We were hoping that this game would supply us with some answers about who the 49ers are at this point in the season. It will be hard to make any definitive statements about the 49ers and who they are going forward based on this game because of the weather. It could be highly unpredictable. The ball could bounce in very funny ways, and you just don't know how it's going to turn out. You could get well away from your intended game plan because of this weather, and therefore won't be able to accurately analyze it as well, but it'll make for some great football. And perhaps, as straightforward fishing says, will we see the Bosa slide today? I sure hope so. I sure hope that we get to see a little bit of hydroplane action. Indeed. Yes. All right. Going forward, trying to find a couple of comments that make the grade. Chester, I agree with you here that yes, indeed, we do need to just run the ball repeatedly. Jet sweeps, end arounds, up the guts, around the corner. Just any possible running combination, I'm here for it. Armchair QB is in agreement. I want to see Shanahan run the offense like he believes in it, that he has his confidence back. Yes, indeed. Ooh, General Meow thinking that we can only win today if we play Trey. Unfortunately, he is inactive today, so if that's your belief, then your belief is that the 49ers are not going to take it out today, and you and I are not in agreement on that one. Rain in red and gold in Reno, Nevada from Robin Pratt here. All right, James. James is at Rob Shoe. I love it when people at Rob Shoe because that makes it very easy to see it. Defensive game plan. Play 5 across the line and blitz K1. Get K'Wan Williams coming up and blitzing Carson Wentz. He is a very effective blitzer off the edge. The Shark most certainly is. I certainly like 5 on the line. I think you want to have 8 in the box up against this offense because you need to make sure that they are not running effectively. You cannot allow them to run effectively today. That would be terrible news for the 49ers. Moses Martinez coming in. Rob, do you believe like I do the DBs are going to have a great night? I think they match up well, partially because of the injuries to the Colts wide receivers, but I've been very pleasantly surprised by the way in which the San Francisco 49ers defensive backs have played to this point in the season. Admittedly, when we saw the injury week 1 to Jason Verrett, you thought, no, that was going to be the end of the defensive backs for the year. Bring in Josh Norman? Really? Can you expect him to be elite? What will E-Man bring to the table? Emmanuel Mosley? Emmanuel Mosley's having a season. Josh Norman is playing well, certainly serviceable. I'm very pleased to this point. Very pleased indeed. We are now just making it to the Darren Waller section of the comments, wherein people had to remind your host who Darren Waller is because the gears in your host's head seized up and he was unable to pull that out of thin air as he was talking. It happens. It happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us. Ooh, General Meow, I am going to directly contradict this statement. We know deep inside Rob Shoe believes the Niners will lose by 3. General Meow, I invite you to kiss my butt on that one. In a friendly way. I do not believe that the 49ers are losing today. I think the 49ers are taking this one home. They are going to physically dominate the Indianapolis Colts. And General Meow, I did not mean to be disrespectful there. That was meant as lighthearted humor there. Lighthearted humor. I hope you took it as such, my friend. James coming back in. Just pretend Defoe is AD and double him and run at him or just run away. I certainly want to see the 49ers doubling Defoe. No question. You cannot allow him, to James' point here, to change the game. That would just be that much more painful. Oh, Francisco talking about Rob. You got to flash the brick for good luck. Now he's saying, at the end of this episode, near the 520 mark, we will get out the brick. I mean, you're going to have to see a blank screen for a moment while I go get the brick. So those of you that are patient will have to wait around, but I will bring the brick on for good luck. Francisco, I'm going to need you to remind me as we get closer. General Meow, you and me both, missing DeForest Buckner. Amen to that. No question about it. Rowe coming in. I sure hope the run game is on tonight. I don't see us being able to throw in these conditions. You have to wonder if either team is going to be able to throw the ball in these conditions, whether anything beyond 10 yards is going to be completed in these types of conditions. The wind looks ferocious to me. That to me is the most stressful part of these conditions. Definitely the wind. I don't think that the wet football is going to be as much of a problem as those passes and kicks blown around that stadium, that open-ended stadium. Could be a very, very windy matchup. Although it is supposed to start to rain significantly harder right around kickoff. So while we're not seeing a whole lot of rain at this moment, you could see a lot right there at kickoff. People starting to get upset with General Meow for having the negativity. General Meow, pick it up, man. Be faithful here. That's what we are here for on this program. That's for sure. All right, we're getting through the comments a little bit. Gotta see what's going. All right, here's one at me. Brothers 000 says, Rob, who are your key players on offense? I'm going with Ayuk, Debo, and Juice. Okay, that's a good question. Key players on offense. Certainly with you on Debo. Debo has been a force of nature to this point for the 49ers, and you have to hope that he is able to continue that path tonight against the Colts. You need him to be effective in the pass game, especially in the short pass game. We need some of these short passes to go to the house. We need the Yak Bros in full effect, and part of the Yak Bros are not in attendance. So Debo's got to step up his game. I'm going to say it's got to be one of the running backs for another one of my 49ers offensive players to the game. I'm going to go with Elijah Mitchell for that same need of explosive plays that I'm looking for Elijah Mitchell to break one off today. I need a long run of over 20 yards, Eli. Please, please tear one off today. So I'm going to go with those two as my key offensive players to the game. Definitely Debo Samuel in the passing game, and then Elijah Mitchell on the ground game. If those two can get it going, the 49ers offense should be in gear for sure. Ooh, I don't like any talk about people getting injured that I see in the comments section. I may have to go back through and block some folks if that's the case. It's hard to read it out loud live because you just don't know and you don't want to block somebody for just being enthusiastic. But man, if you're in the comments section and you start rooting for any player in the NFL to get injured, whether it is on our team or another, that's a sure way to get blocked on my channel because I'm not down with that. All right. Chester saying, I don't like either of our QBs right now. Not liking how they're playing, apparently. But I just root for whoever is under center on Sunday. That is a fact. Whoever is under center for the San Francisco 49er, the faithful are behind that individual. And I am as well. All right, JT, let's see. He's coming in here. Running the ball wins today's game. I'm with you on that. Why on earth do we not have Lance in over Jimmy G? Well, I think in this game, you're talking about Lance not being active because of that knee injury. You can question how severe it is, but I'm one to believe players when they say they've got an injury going on, when the organization calls it out, unless it is obvious that that's not the case. So you think that he's missing this game because of that knee injury. You hope that he heals up and we can start using him sparingly in those snaps in game, even if he's not starting, to get him that experience that he needs. All right, brother coming in here. Can we motion Juice more like we used to do? I think it's a good idea to motion our wide receivers this game because of the grass. Very slippery. Yes, the offense knows which direction they're going. The defense does not and has to respond to the offense's moves. Therefore, you're more likely to slip as a defender because you don't know going into the cut which direction you're going to have to go. I agree with that. I think using motion here is wise in that regard. You certainly want to get the defenders slipping and falling on their backsides. James talking about watching the broadcast. It doesn't look like a rainy mud bowl. Looks pretty mild. I would say that last I had seen, there was only a quarter of an inch of rain that had fallen, but I was reading that the rain really starts to fall around kickoff. So that's what I'll be looking for right about now. What's that weather like? This comment was about 15 minutes ago. Nick coming in from across the pond saying, good morning. D-line needs to contain Wentz and O-line needs to win the push in the run game. This game is going to be about who wins in the trenches and ball security. Could not agree with you more, Nick. Absolutely paramount that the 49ers focus on ball security. I am especially worried about it because of the young running backs that will be running the ball, the two rookies. Absolutely has to be top of mind for them. And in the trenches on defense, if we can get after Carson Wentz, see a couple of sack fumbles, hello indeed. Yes, Jared Carlin coming in, Dwelly for the win. I'd like to see a touchdown. Let's see that athletic frame in the end zone, extending for a touchdown in the back corner. Chester calling out, Rob, hopefully that new throwback hoodie gives us luck. Yes, this is my second outfit for the day. You know, I got my cap here in case that's needed. I got my shoes going. Like, I got the gear needed to change the mojo, even if I got to switch outfits at halftime, because that's what needs to happen when you're faithful and you feel like you can have that butterfly effect on the outcome of this game. You just got to get a little crazy with it. Brothers believes turnovers will happen. You just got to make sure that it's the 49ers. James, I'm with you here. It's National Tight End Day, and we are without our people's tight end, George Kittle. We will miss him in the run game, especially in those second-level blocks. Nobody does it like Kittle on the second level. Bryant Culp coming in. What's up, Bryant? Rob, go 49ers. We are going to beat Indy tonight. It is going to be a great game. Bryant, I like that positive attitude 100%. That one gets the 100 emoji. That's what it gets. All right, looking through the comments, continuing on. Yes, brother calling out, we do have to double Defoe so he doesn't rip Jimmy G's legs off. Yeah, you would think Defoe is going to be highly motivated coming into this game, and the 49ers are going to need to contain that. They need to have an offensive game plan that plans around an electric DeForest Buckner and accounts for the fact that he will be disruptive. JT coming in talking about hold Shanahan accountable if, in fact, the 49ers are unable to pull out a win tonight. JT, while I love Coach Shanahan, I'm with you on this one, especially if it looks like another sloppy game, not just talking about the weather. I mean, can't execute, holding penalty. If we see those same frustrating things happening on the offensive side of the ball, we are going to need to have a long talk about the direction that this thing is going and who is calling the shots at the top, and how do we turn this thing around? Brother coming back in. Titans ran the ball all day, and good things happen. Good things happen when people can't stop you from running down their throat. Absolutely. This is a tough one, JT, asking, Rob, if we lose badly tonight, what would you like to say to Shanahan? I'll wait and see how we lose badly if that were going to be the case. But I'm a believer, wholehearted believer in the buck stops here mentality. If you're the leader of an organization, of a country, of a ball club, and you're at the top of that depth chart, of that organization's chart, you're in charge. Things stop with you. Problems stop at your doorstep. and the solutions need to come from the top. So what I will want to see is accountability on top. I would want to see Shanahan own what had happened. That would be my hope at the end. And then I will definitely come on and fill you in on what I would want to say to him personally in my game breakdown, if that ends up being the case for sure. Bryant, back to the positive though. Tonight, we beat Indy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Chester, I mean, it's entirely possible, but JT, he's talking to JT, his injury maybe be made up to avoid a QB controversy. I don't think that's totally out of the question that a team would do that to avoid a quarterback controversy. Nothing worse than having a quarterback controversy. And the easiest way to say there is no controversy is to simply say that other guy cannot play because he's injured. No doubt about it. I think that you might exaggerate an injury to do that. I don't think you would invent a injury just to do that. Here we go. Jason Walsh coming in. Let's get this W tonight. Yes, indeed. W. That's how we do the W there. Huh? Joey Sly, the prediction. Brian Culp. Joey Sly is going to kick a 50-yarder. That dude does have a leg. He's just a stocky little guy, isn't he? I mean, that guy is ripped. He is ripped and not all that big, but when you've got the, the torque in your leg, guy's got huge thighs. He could kick it in from 60. You never know. I love it. Talking about Bryant. Beat Indy. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, let me keep going in these comments. Jason wants to call out, it's tight end day. Dwelly, baby. Show some love for Dwelly. Yes. Jared calling out, I'm a homer also. You know, it is okay to be a little bit of a homer. I prefer to be a bit of a homer and have an optimistic outlook going into this game than to be sad and morose about thinking that my team is going to lose. I am not blind to the flaws that this team and this organization have, but I choose to look on the brighter side of life, baby, because that's who I am. That's who I am. James calling out that the wind is only 18 miles an hour at the moment. That's what I was reading, that it would hover between 15 and 20 miles per hour. He calls out, that's just a summer in Chicago. Indeed. It looked like it was gusting significantly more than that. General Meow coming in, comparing it to that Ravens game. We all want the Niners to win, but let us be realistic. This is a scary game, like the 2019 Niners versus Ravens rain game. I don't think that this Indianapolis team is as talented as that Ravens team was, but General Meow, I am with you on that in fact it is one we should not be overlooking. Indianapolis is not as bad as their 2-4 record might suggest. I think they are absolutely a team that you have to be wary of. Trying to get forward in the comments to make sure that I get to the end before the game starts, because we can't miss any game action, 49ers fans. That can't happen. So I'm scrolling through. If I miss your comment, it is not intentional unless it's insulting or degrading of the Niners in a way that I don't find appealing. But if it's just critical, I'll work it in there if I can. Right now, I'm just trying to catch up in the comments so that we can be current as we get to the end, not trying to pass over anybody. Don't feel bad if I do. Looks like we've got, let's see. Bryant calling out the fact that Jimmy plays better after he's had a turnover. Let's just hope he doesn't need to turn it around after a turnover, but I know exactly what you're talking about there. Tony talking about getting creative. Tony Nagatoni says, I want to see some 6 offensive lineman formations. What a way that would be to get Aaron Banks into the game and allow him to lay hands on someone. I want to see it. Ooh, okay. Somebody talking about ghostwriting. Nobody talking about anybody getting injured. Yeah, I don't know what the talk of injury was. Just wanted to clarify that on my end. General Meow with the comedy, that always makes it on. Rob, what about rooting for the mascot to get injured? What, is he still Sourdough Sam? Is it still Sourdough Sam? Do we get blocked for that? I mean, it depends on whether you're talking about the dude inside the costume or a cartoon character. I'm okay with cartoon characters getting hurt. That's all right. General Meow. Like I said, just trying to keep it positive, my man. Hopefully y'all can respect that. No worries. No worries. All right, let's see. All right, Jason Walsh had the @Rob in there that caught my attention. Don't worry, Shanny will actually run the ball, seeing how Jimmy is at quarterback tonight, regardless if it rains or not. I sure hope that you're correct there. We need to run the ball and run it down their throats. No question. All right, keeping it going, trying to get a couple more good comments in here before we end this special and get fired up for this game. All right, we got people calling out the fact that the Colts line, their trenches are better than our trenches. I think that's a fair critique. I would put them pretty damn even. Although with Trent Williams out, I give the edge to the Colts D-line against the 49ers O-line. But the Colts O-line is also suspect, and the 49ers D-line is also very dominant. So I think in both cases, the defensive lines are a bit more stout than the O-lines. It'll be interesting to see what the return of Quentin Nelson has to do for the Colts. Jared coming in with a observation. Jared saying, Rob loves science. Indeed, I am a fan of science. And part of it is my in-laws are all nuclear physicists. And so I've got a lot of scientists in the family. So I've got to have an appreciation for it. I certainly did not in school. But yes, science and logic are my friends. All right, let's get down. We're scrolling to the bottom to go from the bottom and head towards the top because I want to see a couple of fantastic comments before we go out on this one. Let's see about this. Ooh, here we go. John. I don't think I have brought up a John comment before, so not only is it John coming in for the first time, but this has to be, John says, this has to be a sermon game. Pound, pound, pound. Yes, indeed. I love it. I love the call out. It does need to be a ground and pound game. It's perfect for a sermon on Sunday night. And just to make sure that the vibe is good, you're going to see a blank screen for a moment. Don't fear. I'm still here. I will call out to you while I try to go get my brick. Someone in the comment section, keep it going. Know that I will be back in just a moment. I don't want to come back to 0 viewers on here. We're going to look at the brick because we need the positive momentum going out of this thing. You guys ready for the brick? You guys ready for the brick? All right, hold on 1 second. We're going to get the brick. We're going to get it. Stick with me here. I'm still here, just going to get my brick. Oh, it's tough to get at it here. It's tough to get at it. Oh, we got the brick. We got the brick. We've got the brick. Here we go. Wait, we're back. Here we go. People have been waiting for this. People have been waiting. Oh, there it is. There it is. There she blows. Rob and Jesse, 49er faithful, forever in love. June 18th, 2011. Yes, indeed, people. The brick has made a guest appearance at this point. The brick is here. The brick is here, and the brick signifies a change for the San Francisco 49ers in changing the outlook of this season. We are looking forward to a phenomenal game tonight. The faithful are out in force at Levi's in terrible weather, and they don't give a shit. If I were anywhere in the Bay Area, I would be there because this is exactly the kind of game that I want to see. This is exactly the type of energy that the 49ers need to turn this thing around. What I will say is I need all of you there with me. If you can stomach to be positive for one more week, All I'm asking for is one more week of your positivity. Then we can reevaluate things. We can come on Monday and we can talk about wherever the direction of this thing is going. But it ain't headed in any direction until we decide this game. This game dictates how we're going to feel tomorrow. So let's bring our energy. Let's bring our positivity, and let's bring some positive momentum. Let's hope that the Mo has come to visit the Santa Clara house of the 49ers in Levi's Stadium. Yes, the San Francisco 49ers are looking to take home the victory tonight. I'm predicting 14-12 in a sloppy mud bowl as the play disintegrates much like the grass on the field. I hope you all have enjoyed our very first live broadcast immediately before the start of the game. It is 5 minutes till kickoff. I need to go get situated. You need to go get situated. Until then, cheers, 49ers fans.